Welcome back, everyone. So today we're going to be talking about Grant Amato, and like I said in my community post, this is going to be a longer video because Grant Amato, well, he just went on and on and on and on during his interrogation, and that's what this is pretty much based on. I found this case through True Crime Loser, which is actually how I started this channel. That's how I got into true crime. I started watching him. He's pretty funny, so go check out that channel. His channel's bigger than mine, so I'm sure you've already heard of that one. But anyways, Grant Amato, I watched the entire interrogation, and at the end of it, it's kind of like, well, either I just watched that entire 4-hour interrogation for nothing, or I'm going to make a video about Grant Amato. So here I am making a video about Grant Amato. And like True Crime Loser said, he really does look like an alien. This guy, he was a nurse, by the way. And you imagine waking up, like you just got out of a coma, and you wake up to Grant Amato staring at you or peering over your bedside, bald-headed, like the huge ears. He looks like a Star Trek character. Not to rag anyone for their appearance, though. It's not his fault. But anyways. Yeah. Grant Amato, long story short, he killed his entire family. He was borrowing money from his parents and his brother, and he was also stealing money from them as well. And he was giving it to a Bulgarian cam model, pretty much for the the online girlfriend experience. Why, I don't know. Why he didn't buy a prostitute, an escort, I don't know. This is gonna get really dark. Okay, really, really, really dark. I think you can buy a person for less money than that. Black market human trafficking, which is a very, very serious problem that is going on around the United States and not just the United States, but the rest of the world. So human trafficking is a big deal. But I think you can legitimately get a real person for less money than this guy spent on this Bulgarian cam model, like $200,000 plus on this Bulgarian cam model. So anyways, let's get into this. I'm going to show you a short clip of the intro of the interrogation to get a feel of what these cops were going with, their strategy was.
Hey, we really appreciate you coming up here with us, and anytime during this you need to stop and go to the bathroom, want a drink, saying just let me know, and we'll be happy to get you in.
So right off the bat, this is Grant Amato. He just murdered his family like hours ago, really. And the cops bring him in, obviously, because he was the only person alive left in that house who lived there. Everyone else got murdered. And so obviously they bring him in. And they go all real nice to him, They go kind of the opposite. If you've ever heard of, the old classic good cop, bad cop strategy, they kind of go with the good cop strategy, which doesn't really work out too well with Grant Amato. He just kind of keeps denying it over and over again for the next 4 hours. But they go with good cop, and they kind of just let him go on. They kind of just let him tell his tale. And Grant Amato does. Yeah, he does tell him his life story.
So your nursing certificate is still good?
Free, clear, and active. It's always been clear and active. It's just the quintessential, you go to that background check, and then they'll see an outstanding thing. Even though I have the paperwork now.
So that's an important piece of information. Grant Amato was charged at his old job. Again, he was working as a nurse. He was charged of felony theft of medication. He said that he was stealing medication for patients that he thought were being under-medicated. I don't know if that's the truth or not, because, Grant Amato, like True Crime Loser said, he looks like an alien. I don't know what he's going on in his head. But anyways, he gets charged with felony theft. Charges end up getting dropped. His brother pays for all of his lawyer fees and shit like that, by the way. But those charges end up getting dropped, but it's still on the background check. It comes up, so he's working on getting expunged. Because if you get charged with a crime, even though it gets dismissed or you get acquitted, it's still gonna say that you've been charged with that. Like you could get charged with murder, and even if you got acquitted, you would still say that you were charged with murder. And people don't like that, saying that someone was charged with murder. So people don't like seeing that Grant was charged with theft. So he was unemployed at the time, and that's kind of where it all started going downhill. So I thought that was a good moment to pick out from the interrogation. That was information that was actually pertinent to the case, but unfortunately, Grant drones on about his life again, like I said, for just hours and hours and hours, and he talks about a bunch of shit that means nothing. So he talks about his Twitch streaming career. I don't know if you guys know what Twitch is, but it's a streaming platform for video game players, and he was going to become a Twitch streamer, and he was going to play Fortnite because, you know, who wouldn't want their kids looking or, you know, watching Grant Amato play Fortnite? Alien looking piece of shit. Anyways, yeah, so Grant Amato, he wanted to become a Twitch streamer. That was actually one of the ways he was stealing money. He said that he was using the money for his Twitch streaming career by buying advertising. So that was one of the ways he was getting away with stealing money. And then he went on to talk about guns. They talked about guns for a long, long time. I don't know why they got really into guns. They don't really seem like the gun-wielding type, like, you know, gun-wielding nurses, syringes and shotguns. I don't know. But they got really into guns, and they were building guns. And this comes into play later because they sold all their guns except one. So, I don't know. But they got really into guns. It's like, what do you think you're going to? World War III? I don't get it. But anyways, they got really into guns for a while, and he talks about that. And then he talks about his brother Cody and how they went to Japan. Then he starts to talk about anime. And he's explaining anime to these police officers like they're 6. And he's trying to sell anime to these people and make it not sound like it's for kids. Which some anime is not for kids. But anyways, he talks about anime and why this is going on in a police interrogation for murder. I don't know. I think it's just kind of to build his trust. But anyways, he goes on about talking about anime and video games. And then he talks about his trip to Japan where, you know, Cody paid for everything. And it was amazing. And the culture was so much different. Blah, blah, blah. We want to go back again. Can't now because you killed your brother and you're in life in prison. But, yeah. So he goes on about a lot of stuff that doesn't matter. And that was 2 minutes of me talking about what he talked about. And just know that he went on about it for 4 hours. So there you go. So here's a little bit more backstory about Grant Amato. So he lived, again, with his parents and his brother, Cody, who was also a nurse. And they did go to anesthesiology school together, as Grant would say, and they studied together, and they, you know, stayed up late nights together, you know, whatever. I don't know, whatever nursing students do, but anyways, yeah. He lives with Cody, his mom, his dad, and they're in their late 20s, and they have another brother, Jason. He's older, and he's their half-brother. He moved out when he was 18, I think, or he moved out when he was really young. He got out of the house, which is probably, again, I think I said this earlier, his best decision ever to leave that house. But anyways, so his dad is a pharmacist and his mom works in like medical billing or something. I don't really care enough to look it up, to be honest. Anyways, they're saving up money throughout their entire lives. They're building a cabin in Kentucky, and it's awesome. You know, they're going to retire there. And then Grant started to steal money from them, and again his brother Cody as well, and they were also giving him money. So they were both giving him money and he was stealing money at the same time. So it's kind of weird, kind of double shitty. So anyways, yeah, that was their life savings. You know, they had worked hard all their entire lives, and at the end of it all, his dad hated his job as a pharmacist in this like new era of pharmacy or whatever. I don't know. I'm not up to date in the pharmacy degrees, but there's a PharmD degree, I think, which is a doctorate now, or an actual doctor in pharmacy, doctor of pharmacy. And you didn't have to get that before, but he didn't have that, so he got grandfathered in, and he couldn't find like a really good job at any like, you know, I don't know, fancy company. He had to work at like CVS or something. So he hated that job, but he was still saving up, you know, to eventually retire to his cabin that he made and spend, you know, the rest of his retirement with his wife. But that obviously didn't happen. So that is really, really sad. And Grant Amato did it all. Why? For a Bulgarian cam model named Sylvie, which is, it's not really her fault. I don't know why I might have come across like I was saying it was her fault, but it isn't her fault at all. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna play a clip for you guys, and this will pretty much sum up everything you need to know about Grant Amato's relationship with this Bulgarian cam model. Okay, here you go.
All right, Sylvia, look at me. I am outside going to check the mail, and I'm asking you if you can please, pretty please, send me one of your videos. I love it so much when you just send them to me. Yeah, I don't like buying your stuff. It makes me feel weird. Could you please send me one though?
So yeah, Grant went full-blown simp with Sylvie, giving her over, again, $200,000. $200,000, okay? That's ridiculous. But anyways, his parents, his brother, they finally find out where it's going to. Actually, one more thing before I get to that. I don't really know. I'm confused if Grant Amato considered Sylvie to be his girlfriend or not. Like, I think in the back of his mind, he had to know that she was just a cam model, but I think he thought she was his girlfriend. I'm not sure, though. What do you think? I don't know. Don't quote me on it. Anyways, so yeah, they finally find out where the money's going to, that it's going to some cam model on the internet. And rightfully so, they get pissed. So they send Grant, again, I think I said this earlier, to rehab for pornography and internet addiction, which I didn't even know there were rehab centers for that. But anyways, there are. So he went to that porn rehab center, and he didn't stay the entire time. He checked out after 3 weeks. And again, this was all paid for by everyone else. He checks out after 3 weeks, doesn't really get any treatment. Obviously, it didn't work, kind of like the Josh Duggar situation, in his little Christian Jesus camp. It just didn't take. So Grant Amato comes back, starts talking to the cam model right away. And actually, when he comes back from rehab, he has to follow a set of rules. They're written out. I'll read some of them for you now. Here's another good representation of how obsessed this guy was with Sylvie. How much of a simp he was. Here's an excerpt from a letter that he wrote to, I guess, the people who like Sylvie. Everyone, I ask for your forgiveness regarding my stupidity. I will never be able to forgive myself for making Sylvie sad and for betraying her trust in me. I think he acted like he was rich, that stupid picture of him with the dollar bills, He acted like he was rich and he really wasn't, so that's what he's apologizing for. Despite the many things that I've tried to currently emphasize to her, I care for her deeply and wish for an actual second chance with her in the room. I think that it is safe to say by now that everyone here knows that I made a drastic mistake with Sylvie. I upset her, made her very sad, and ruined the end of December and beginning of January for her. I won't go into great detail because that is not the purpose of this message, but I lied to her and you guys from the beginning about myself. I am not a professional gamer, did not own my own house, did not drive a BMW. The major one here was the gamer. I know that I at least told all of you guys that I was that, and while I attempted to do that, he failed. Okay, yeah. I think he's talking about his Twitch streaming career that failed, apparently. So that's Grant Amato. He's weird as shit. I don't know what the community is of some cam girl. I don't really know why that exists, but apparently it does, and Grant was a part of it. So that's where all of his money was going. According to this article, Grant was devastated about losing contact and access to the woman. He writes, I am unable to function normally without her. I will never get over her. That's weird. That's really weird. I don't really have anything to say about that. Unfortunately, though, that's not really the worst part. Here's the fake letter Grant left in his car that cops found when they searched his car. Grant, I'll take care of all your problems. I just need you back. I can't live without you, brother. I said I'd take care of all your problems at the house, and I have. No one will bother you again regarding this. Just please come home. I can't do this again. If you think I'm part of the problem, then I've really lost you, and I can't take that loss after everything. And that was supposed to be from his brother Cody, who actually, according to this article, his grandmother said Cody would have spent his last dollar to save him.
Tell me what you think, because I can tell I've done this for a long, long time, and I read people, the way they act, and the way they talk to me, and the way they answer questions. There's something you want to tell us. I can see it in your eyes, I can see it in your body language, and just the way you act. Now's the time. Now's the time. If there's something you want to get off your chest and give us an explanation of what's bothering you, now is the exact time to do it. And I'm giving you that opportunity right now to tell me something you want to get off.
Back to the interrogation. So after Grant's done, doing his little spiel about his life, they turn on the interrogation mode. And here's where they go from good cop to bad cop. Not really bad cop, but more just like, come on, Grant, just admit it, buddy, come on. And what you saw there is like 30 seconds of what would eventually end up being the exact same thing over and over again. It's like, do you want to get something off your chest, buddy, man? Do you want to get something off your chest? And he's like, no, I don't have anything to say. There's nothing more I can say. And he does that a lot for, many, many hours, many minutes and hours listening to Grant Amato. And this dude saying he's like, Grant, I know you're a good guy, even though you just murdered your entire family. So tell me the truth. And it's a lot of that back and forth for, again, a very long time. And then after that, they bring in his brother Jason, and it gets kind of emotional.
Alright, so I take it you know what happened. I'm going to ask you plain out, you are not part of it anyway?
No.
When's the last time you saw everybody?
So that continues for a while, and then the police officers come back in, and they give him one last chance to confess. And of course, he's just going to continue to deny it. And then he gets to leave, actually, just like Chris wants. He gets to go home pretty much the night after he murdered his family. He gets to be a free man for one more day, and then, he gets arrested shortly after. But they let Grant Amato go because they didn't have enough evidence at the time to keep him there. But, that's the Grant Amato case in a nutshell. This guy is insane. And I'm going to play you one last short clip that's really just going to mess with you, okay? All right?
That's not your job. All right, I'm ready. I do love you, though. Just remember that. Just like Mom, Cody, and Dad loved you. Nobody loved you any more or any less. I'm going to pray for you, brother, because I can't pray for Mom, Dad, and Cody anymore.
Please, let me check it out.
You have anything else you need to talk about before we let you go? Because now's your time. You know that. Like Danny said, once you're out of here, there's no coming back from this. We're giving you every opportunity to tell us what happened in that home that you have not told us. So you're aware that when you leave here, you're not going to have any chance to redeem yourself and tell us the truth after the fact.
I understand.
And you're okay with that. You can live with yourself knowing that you're not going to tell us the truth.
I've said what I can say.
Okay.
You ready, man? Yeah. Question for you real quick. You don't want to hurt yourself.
No.
You don't want to hurt anybody else.
No.
No suicidal thoughts.
No.
Okay, come on, bud.
So ultimately, Grant would get sentenced to life in prison. I'm surprised personally he didn't get the death penalty. It was in Florida, and weird stuff happens in Florida, like the Aiden Fucci thing. I don't know what, the old saying goes, Florida man does whatever. You get it. So it was in Florida, so I was kind of surprised that he didn't get the death penalty. What do you guys think? I don't know. I don't think I would have given him the death penalty, but that's just because I don't like it in general because it costs so much money. But he probably doesn't deserve to live. He's a real piece of shit, and he looks like an alien. So that's Grant Amato. He's gonna spend the rest of his life in prison, and I think he's working on a book. Maybe I think people write letters to him for whatever reason. I don't know, just like Chris Watts, but probably less because he looks like an alien. But he still gets letters, and I think they are working on some kind of story about him, or they were at some point in time, but it has been a while, so I don't think they're working on it anymore, I guess. But whatever. Grant Amato got obsessed with a cam girl from Bulgaria, and he ruined an entire family. An entire family, 2 generations wiped out because of a Bulgarian cam model. And he didn't just go, see an escort. Why? I don't know. I guess that just doesn't compute in his head. But whatever. So that is Grant Amato. And thank you for watching, because I didn't want to watch that interrogation for nothing. So thanks for watching, guys. See you again.